Hello everyone, my name is Big Head Code, and if you've seen my videos on the real-world origins of video game characters, you'd know that some of gaming's most iconic characters are based on real people or characters from other forms of media. Today, I'm going to be talking about the real-world origins of Street Fighter characters, Part 3. If you like these sort of videos, please leave a like and subscribe as I try to upload 2 to 3 videos a week. Anyway, on to the video. Charlie Nash made his debut as a playable character in Street Fighter Alpha, released in 1995. Though not playable until later in the series, he was first referred to in Guile's backstory for Street Fighter II. He is Guile's superior officer and mentor, training him in combat and even teaching him his trademark Sonic Boom. Prior to the events of Street Fighter II, Charlie is believed to have been killed by M. Bison, which serves as Guile's motivation for joining the Street Fighter tournament. In all Japanese versions of the game, he is simply referred to as Nash, but in all English titles prior to Street Fighter V, his name is changed to Charlie. Capcom translator Tom Shiraiwa explained the reason for the name change in an interview with Polygon. I always did a literal translation of the original Japanese, and of course I translated it as Nash. Then they gave it to someone at Capcom USA, and they came back and changed the name. I asked them why, but they said, Nash is not an English name basically, so we've got to change it to something else, otherwise people will not recognize it as a name, or maybe they may not have some attachment to this character. And he's supposed to be a US soldier, and they suggested, how about Charlie? His appearance is very similar to the character Dave the Scientist from the Capcom fighting game Cyberbots Full Metal Madness. The characters have very similar faces as well as Nash's trademark bangs, and Nash would eventually sport a similar Frankenstein-esque appearance in Street Fighter V. His appearance in Street Fighter V is also very similar to the character Preston Ajax from the game Fighting Layer, released in 1998, which was developed by the makers of Street Fighter EX. Like Nash, Ajax sports military pants and boots, and half of his face and body appear to be reanimated and sewn together. Hakan made his debut in Street Fighter IV, released in 2008. He is a Turkish oil wrestler who joins the Street Fighter tournament to showcase the art of oil wrestling and travel the world in search of a new oil recipe. He has red skin and bright turquoise hair, worn in an abnormal circular pattern. The appearance and color of his hair is a reference to a Japanese pun. The Japanese word for turkey is toroko, and his hair is similar to those seen on stone Fudog statues, and the Japanese word for stone is ishi. Combining those words forms the phrase toroko ishi, which translates to turquoise. His appearance is very similar to the character Darren Meister from the game Street Fighter EX. Like Hakan, he is a wrestler, extremely muscular, and has distinct facial hair and wears very similar attire. Hakan is also most likely inspired by real-life wrestler Yusuf Ismail. Yusuf was a Turkish pro wrestler in the 1890s who was one of wrestling's first foreign heels, standing 6'2" and weighing in at 305 pounds. Necalli made his debut in Street Fighter V, released in 2016. He is an ancient Aztec warrior who was awakened during the events of Street Fighter V and seeks powerful warriors in order to consume their souls. Much of his design is inspired by ancient Aztec gods, but his appearance and distinct way of speaking are very similar to the character Santana from the manga and anime series JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Santana is discovered slumbering within a pillar of a temple in Mexico. He is the first of his race known as the Pillarmen to appear in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The Pillarmen are Aztec-inspired superhuman beings that once lived in the American continent, but were thought to be extinct. Like Necalli, Santana is able to absorb his enemies, speaks in a very distinct fashion, and one of Necalli's alternate costumes gives him stone skin similar to Santana. The Pillarmen have also gone on to influence a number of iconic Street Fighter characters. Rose made her debut in Street Fighter Alpha 1. She is a fortune teller from Italy that utilizes an energy known as soul power and uses her scarf as a weapon. Much of her concept and design are similar to the character Lisa from the manga and anime series JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like Rose, Lisa is from Italy, uses a scarf as a weapon, and utilizes a power known as Ripple Energy, a power she passes down to her students, much like Rose's soul power is taught to her pupil Manat in Street Fighter V. Akuma, or Goki as he's known in Japan, made his debut in Super Street Fighter II Turbo as a hidden character. He is the brother of Ryu and Ken's master Goken, and uses a dark form of martial arts known as the Satsui no Hado. He wears a dark-colored gi similar to the ones worn by Ryu and Ken, and he has red hair worn in a top knot. His creation was inspired by an April Fool's joke featured in the 1992 edition of Electronic Gaming Monthly. In the original Japanese version of Street Fighter II, Ryu had a win quote in which he stated, "You must defeat my Shoryuken or Dragon Punch to stand a chance." Before being translated to English, the game was first translated into Chinese, with the Chinese word for Dragon Punch being Shenlong. When translating the game into English, Capcom USA believed Shenlong was another character, and the quote was translated to, "You must defeat Shenlong to stand a chance." This led to gamers speculating on who Shenlong was. The EGM April Fool's article stated to face Shenlong you had to play through the arcade mode with Ryu, making it all the way to M. Bison without getting hit once. Then you had to fight M. Bison for 10 rounds without either character hitting each other. After the 10th round, Shenlong would appear on screen throwing Bison before facing you. His appearance was similar to Ryu and Ken's, but he sported a dark-colored gi and long gray hair. This design would later resemble their master Gouken in Street Fighter IV. The techniques for facing Akuma in Super Street Fighter II Turbo were significantly easier than his April Fool's counterpart. Players had to either defeat Sagat with a game timer under 1500 seconds, or beat Sagat with a score of 1.2 million. Like Shenlong's supposed intro, Akuma teleports on screen, taking out Bison before facing you. His appearance is very similar to a number of divine beings from the Buddhist religion, most notably Asura and the Buddhist guardians known as the Neo. Asura is a demigod or titan of the Buddhist religion, often associated with wrath, envy, and pride. In Buddhist teachings of rebirth, after death, Asuras reflect the mental state of a human being obsessed with ego, force, and violence. Akuma's hair and face are similar to certain depictions of Asuras seen in various statues, with their hair being tied in a top-knot fashion and an almost demonic face similar to that of Akuma. His appearance is also similar to the Neo, a pair of statues placed outside of Buddhist temples in Japan. Many of Akuma's trademark poses are similar to those of the Neo, and there have been a number of references to them throughout the Street Fighter series, such as Yoon in Street Fighter III stating he's seen Akuma at a temple before. They are also featured heavily in his stage in Street Fighter IV, as well as his stage in Tekken 7. That's all for now, but there's plenty of characters I've yet to cover. If you know of any other character origins, please leave them below in the comments and I could feature them in future videos. My name is Big Head Code, and thank you again for watching.